Alice Fernandez, Clark, New Jersey. I first want to establish that Rahway Park is a Union County park, even though it's located in the township of Rahway. Am I correct about that? Yes? Go ahead. Okay, thank you. All right, now, so the proposed stadium for Union County Rahway Park will create a health hazard to a number of residents that live in the park and surrounding areas. And I don't know if any of you have driven through that park. There are apartment buildings and there are a number of homes. I don't live there, but I really feel for these people whose property value is going to decrease enormously if this stadium is ever put into this park. That's number one. So anyway, now, the major increase in traffic, and to say that's minor is far from the truth. It's going to be major traffic going through there, and you'd be lucky to get a place to park. Loudness of noise, and I don't know if you're aware of the fact that loud noises on a continual basis can definitely be a health hazard because a person can get loss of hearing from that. All this coming from the stadium. They are going to have loudspeakers. And then you have flaring lights at night at a dusk and have impact on people with health issues who require peace and tranquility. I know when my husband was alive, he worked nights and he slept during the day. We tiptoed around the house so he could get his sleep. Imagine all these people living there. Now, during the day, in the evening, and so forth, they're going to have these lights everywhere. And I used to live not too far from King University, and we saw the lights. The lights were really very bright. Currently, this park is utilized on a daily basis by an enormous number of people, from babies to seniors, all year round. Not seasonally, all year round. How can anyone suggest taking this away in order to accommodate a group of students from one township in Union County out of 21 townships, one township, to accommodate a group of students as compared to all these people, the number of people that use this park on the weekends for picnicking. A lot of these people can't afford to go on vacation. This is it. They go to this park. You can go anytime, any weekend, Saturday, Sunday. It's jammed with people picnicking in this park. I would say that the greater good is currently being served right now for the residents of Union County, as opposed to a stadium which would accommodate a group of children, students, and I'm not objecting to that, that's important too, but we're going to compare these two. You can see that it just doesn't make any sense. So I would ask you if there's going to be a referendum and when this referendum will take place, so all of us from Union County can vote. We would like this stadium to be built on this park, in this park, I should say, not on the park, in the park. And also, of course, I didn't mention about the taxes, but I think that issue has been brought up by others. It's very costly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to be heard?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Walter Pounds. Can you hear me?
No, I can't.
We can't hear.
The last.
Draw it closer.
You turn off the mic. Vent. Aside from Walter Pound is from Clark, New Jersey. Aside from the environmental issues about noise, pedestrian beneficial effect of lighting and water runoff from into the Rahway River where Rahway gets its drinking water. I have another issue. What benefit is this to the residents of Union County? Somebody up on this board, please explain why this is so important to invest millions of dollars in this proposal for a town or city of Rahway, exclusive use of this venue. I find it appalling. I really do. Who initiated this proposal? Where did it come from? Whose idea is this? For what reason? Few knew about this. Few knew about it. I found out because there's signs all over the place, and I went on the internet to find out what's going on. Then I found out the people here want to build this stadium on public property from public monies for a separate entity. I find that appalling. If anything, it should be on a ballot that people can voice their opinion. I find it also appalling that most people voted for saving Green Acres. And I'm under the impression that Green Acres is for preserving property from developers, to provide a place for people to utilize, get out in the country and enjoy it, and to preserve our drinking water. I don't know how they got involved in this. What's Green Acres getting involved in this entity of supporting Rahway and their stadium? I'm beyond words. I think the officials have done many great things over the years, but I think you blew this one. I really do. I think you did a great disrespect to the citizens of this county. We put your trust in doing good things for the public. You're only doing good things for the people of Rahway. If you decide on going ahead with this, I hope you have to live with all these questions that people have and really think about why you're doing this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Conlon. Next person wishing to be heard?
My name is Thomas N. Smith. I live at 56 Parkway Drive, Clark, New Jersey. This is the issue of Rahway Park. From what I see here, there's two issues. There's the issue of the stadium itself, and there's also a moral issue. In reference to the stadium itself, I've been involved in a situation very similar to this in the city of Newark. I was raised in Newark. I spent my entire career in Newark, but at one time there was a stadium in Newark, and it's called Bear Stadium, and it was on a huge piece of property. They had circuses there, stock car races there, and what happened is at the time Mayor Atenizio, who was the mayor at that time, along with other political figures, decided to sell that property to industry, where they built 3 major buildings. So now the stadium had to be torn down, and the stadium was moved to a residential area. And the promise was there would be plenty of parking, the noise would be limited, and that wasn't true. In the end, what had happened is that a lot of the residents who were in this quiet area moved. The noise was tremendous. So all the promises that the mayor and the politicians made at that time was not true. So in reference to this stadium, as far as noise and congestion is concerned, you have not Warrienko Park, you have Winfield Park that has a fireman's feast every year. The noise in that park carries to the other side of Rahway Park, just from the PA system. There's no way that you could tell the people that there's going to be limited noise, because there's going to be noise and there's going to be tremendous congestion. In reference to the moral issue, there's many people in this park. I've been in this park for 42 years. There's many people that go to that park just for the tranquility. There's a lot of people that have problems. They go there just to relax. And it's amazing. You can sit there, and as people walk by, they either wave to you or just give you a smile. And you get a sense of peacefulness. You look across this field and you get a sense of freedom because of the vast field. It's amazing. In the wintertime, as the sun's coming up, after a blanket of snow, if you stay on the east side of the park, or the west side of the park, and look east as the sun's coming up, it turns into a winter wonderland. It's such a quiet, tranquil place. It's just unbelievable. On Saturdays and Sundays, the amount of people that are in this park is amazing. There's all different groups spread out through all the park, and it's as though everybody is working in harmony. There's no yelling, no screaming. You see the children playing. It's actually a place for everybody, poor people, rich people. It's a place to go for tranquility. And I've witnessed that over 42 years. So, in conclusion, check your history books on this. There was 4 great empires. There was the Babylonians, there was the Persians, there was the Greeks, and there was the Romans. The Persians conquered the Babylonians, the Greeks conquered the Persians, and the Romans conquered.
Thank you very much for your comments. Anyone else wishing to be heard?
My time is up already?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to be heard?
Stan Majeski, Law in New Jersey, 48 years there. I'd like to read a little letter from the coalition a few weeks ago that we've gotten widespread attention from the residents of Rahway who wants to remain anonymous. To the people of Rahway, Clark, Linden, and the rest of Union County. From what I read, the primary reason for the town notes for wanting to relocate the stadium is due to flooding. A very large attractive reason they have chosen was Rahway Park, where because they can split financial burden with the county and steal 10 acres of pristine county park land for their own use. Although they may seem a mile in the short-term Rahway economic view, it is also a very short-sighted and misleading blurred view of real long-term financial impacts in the town and the local neighborhoods and the counties, residents and taxpayers. Historic Rahway River Park, deemed eligible for historic preservation status, is the oasis in the midst of an ever-increasing urbanized zone. It is an oasis built in a floodplain, a very active floodplain, as I have seen. Having been here for 5 years, I have seen the side go to Bob. in the central field of the park after Irene, Sandy, and 2 snowy winters. Ask the Rahway lifer, and they will tell you that it is a common occurrence. The water table is intention of receding, so as for originally stated reason for moving the stadium is removed. The negative impacts of the building at 1,200 seat stadium is a natural preserve area are numerous. A prospect that will be increased to originally 5,000 seats make it worse. Let's begin. Traffic. There would not be enough road space to handle cars, bikes, county maintenance vehicles traveling around the park during the events, as well as hardy souls that still wish to use the park. Many people drive, bike, walk, pail, the dairy, and slice the nature of quiet. They will be greatly diminished. Groups wishing to use the facility to warmer weather would be discouraged or actually tuned away to the congestion and lack of parking. No one will spend money to the police cars at the gates of the entry to certain who is a sporting event, who is there for private recreation. The increased traffic will be dangerous for cyclists, pedestrians with current drive-through roadway in the park, and the drivers, pedestrians, and Valley Road and Rahway Park intersection. Parking with 410 spaces. Now there is enough parking for smaller events. This weekend, there were approximately 8 small groups, under 40 people each, meeting at the park lawns, and nearly 85% of the parking capacity was full. Please recall the 4th of July fireworks. The neighborhoods within a quarter mile of the park entrance were filled by incoming cars taking over the streets because of the parking in the Rahway Park, which is entirely used up. When you choose to live near the high school, you do knowing that the high school activities are life. These are not things expected at a natural preserve area. Taxes, everybody in the county will pay for this. If the county decides to use it for multi-county events, then Rahway residents will be picking up the long-term cost of the overflow issues. Unless, of course, you're host-paying events, which taxpayers won't see any relief from. But I'm confident someone will gain by those funds. Pollution, air pollution increases bus, large vehicle traffic, increased auto traffic. These will also impact walkers, joggers, bicyclists, children playing in the park, and the surrounding tree line will contain the pollution with park longer than open air space. Chrome rubber for artificial turf fields are loaded with suspected cartridge substance that have been banned by men's and women's World Soccer Leagues. CBS aired a special a few months ago exposing hundreds of children around the country coming down with leukemia, blood cancers, after playing on these fields. Through the formative years, the Rahway administrator keeps saying this is for the children. Really? Waterway pollution runoff, synthetic surface, plus additional ground pollutants from the interested foot traffic and autos draining into the river that supplies Rahway River supply. Street pollution, refuse and out of containers. Noise, reducing the enjoyment factor, excessively parked and wishing to be out in the nature, affecting the residential neighbors tranquilly and daily. After dark, auto traffic, honking doors, slamming, crowd noises, stadium PA systems expected to be heard over 1,200 fans, marching bands, etc. Light, after the dark, streams with headlights, especially after the fall foliage has dropped, impacted all the Rim residents.
Thank you very much for your comments.
7-story
Anyone else
lighting
wishing to be
illuminated
heard?
area of the Great 600 by
Excuse me,
9
sir.
for the engineers
We appreciate your
presentation at the
comments. Your
Hannibal
time is
Station.
up. We're asking the next person to speak. Be very kind.
My name is Bill Baker. I live on Church Street in Rahway. And I'm a proud member of the coalition to save Rahway Park. Now, there are certain things that I can hand over. We've been through them 1,000 times. I get sick of hearing it all the time because you people have heard it. I've heard it. And it's about time that we just know what we're saying. Well, we at the coalition are not against a stadium. We are against the stadium in the park. Okay, we have mentioned several times alternatives, for a stadium, but either you people just don't care or you don't want to know. I know it's politics. I mean, this whole damn thing is politics. Rahway politics, and you guys here. I know you know, you're not going to say anything, but we know. Okay? We've mentioned Green Acres, we've mentioned Veterans Field, and we've even mentioned Merck, who is downsizing and needs money, and they have plenty of property there. But nobody cares, okay? Instead of me talking about these things and then picking up this stupid piece of paper, which is the same thing every time I come, it's the same thing. Answer my questions on this paper, so that when I come at the next meeting, I'll pick this up and I'll see your answer as to why you won't do Green Acres, why you won't do Veterans Field, why you won't do Merck, okay? That'll at least give us some kind of an answer rather than sitting here looking at everybody and saying, when is this going to be over? You know? Gentlemen, there's an awful lot of people that are taking this very passionately. This is not something that people are taking lightly. And the more we've gotten the message out through our signs and our petitions, people are starting to learn. They're going, oh my God, how come? And now more and more people are getting used to it. More and more people are coming to the meetings. More and more people want to know what the hell's going on. That's why we have over 4,000 petitions now, and we can get a lot more, and will. There's a lot of people. You people had better start getting it into your head that this is not a joke to us. And we're not against the kids, so make it look like, oh, you don't want the kids to have a place to play. Yes, we do. Not at Park. Not for a stadium like that. Gentlemen, I can't say any more than that.
Yes, and when the referendum.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Hello, this is Susan Salamek, 989 Hamilton Street in Rahway, right about a couple hundred feet away from Madison Park, also known as Evergreen, I believe. I'd be happy to see it there, by the way. So this is not an NIMBY, it's getting closer to me and out of the park. I agree with all of the previous speakers on behalf of the coalition who have argued against the presence of the project in Rahway River Park. I'm here because I've been educated. It's been a hard education. I've always believed in fair play, equality. I thought of government as actually having something to do with reality. I have since learned that it's a theory only. Practice is quite different. I am still researching, and I'm a pretty good researcher. I worked at Merck & Company for 26 years. I am published. I worked in the molecular modeling department. I have scientific papers. Yes, I know how to research. And I have a darn hard time trying to figure out the path of this thing. What I have seen is a joint agreement between the county and Rahway that had a list of whereases. Whereas this, whereas that, whereas the other thing, we believe all of these things to be true without evidence. We will join together to spend a bunch of money to put a stadium in the park. Hallelujah. Well, I would like to tell you one of your whereases is incorrect. I have attended the first and second high school games for Rahway this year. First one was in Roselle in a downpour, and the second one was a home game. One of the whereases states that whereas we need to, this is paraphrasing, improve the spectator amenities, I find that the spectator amenities at Veterans Field to be superior to anything that is on the drawing board for Rahway River Park. I felt sorry for Warren Hills, or Warren, sitting on the other side, because they were sitting on bleachers that we'll get to sit on in Rahway River Park. I had my back up against a wall, and I was very comfortable. There are bathrooms. There are field houses. There are driveways right down to the very edge of the field, which was kind of necessary. One for the equipment trucks from both Rahway and from Warren to unload the equipment, and two, to get the stretchers down there for the two cheerleaders that had to be taken away on stretchers. How is that going to happen in the park? Where is the field house? Where are the separate bathrooms for the teens? Or are they going to wait until all of the spectators have gone to the bathroom before they go? This is completely false. You've been hoodwinked. We've been hoodwinked. I think you need to go back and look at this, and I'll be researching more. Thank you.
Greg Roberts from Elizabeth. I'll just say to anybody that's here, let your stance be known. I know people don't like microphones, I don't like microphones. But just get up, say what your name is, what city you live in, stop the estate, then you can sit down. Okay. I've been coming to these meetings for months. From the start, certain things always seemed fishy. From the beginning, all the information we've been given seems designed to say, nothing going on here, no need to pay attention to this. This is only refurbishment, an upgrade of an existing field.
And it's a done deal.
Right off the bat, that raised a red flag. Another thing is the stands. The seating numbers always seem fishy. Crazy numbers were mentioned in the beginning. I think the first number I heard was 5,000. And I see on a big handout today, it mentioned 5,000 again. The current number is 1,200. That's a reduction from some previous higher number. There has never been an explanation of what was envisioned when those higher numbers were considered. You have to remember that the stands were not part of the county's original plan. They were an amenity requested by Rahway High School once they got involved. 1,200 seems to be about 3 times the maximum attendance at a Rahway High School football game. Another thing is the county's original plan. How did the county decide to replace the field? Somebody asked that already. They have a facility for people to reserve fields, so they should have a record of field usage. How often they couldn't satisfy requests for fields. Did anybody ever present evidence like we are turning down 5 requests for soccer fields each week because they're all in use? I don't remember ever hearing that kind of information. The other thing fishy about the county's original plans are the lights. Currently you have a grass field, there's no need for lights. But replace that grass field with synthetic turf, all of a sudden you need 4 70-foot light stations. That always seems strange to me. The use agreement. People have repeatedly asked for details on the use agreement. Months ago, a guy from Rahway Environmental Group said to make a judgment, they need more than a description of the physical facility. They need to know how it will be used. We still don't know. I'm not a resident of Rahway, but it seems strange to me that Rahway was committed $2 million without knowing how they would be allowed to use the facility. That has a political smell to it. Parking. At some point, the fake handed out at these meetings said there was no plans for additional parking. That didn't make sense to a lot of us. Then at the meeting at the Hamilton stage, we were told there would be off-site satellite parking. We're still wondering where they're going to get volunteers to take up that parking.
And how much is it going to cost?
Thank you very much for your comments. Anyone else wishing to be heard?
Scott Ruda, Parkway Drive, Clark.
Closer to the mic.
Sorry, Scott Ruda, Parkway Drive in Clark. I'd like you to know that our petition has reached 4,400 signatures today. That's up over 1,000 in the last month. We know we're going to hit 5,000 very soon, and that's a serious number of people. About 1,000 of those signatures come from Rahway residents. There's about 500 or so from Clark, and the rest is spread over other towns from the county, some international, whatever, but the bulk of the 4,400 are local people. We think that a referendum on this would be a great idea for the people of the county to have their say on how their park is used and how their money is spent. I believe Mr. Barry said at the meeting the other night that this has all been decided by 3 public entities. And so therefore, public comment's not really necessary. The Rahway City, I'm not sure if you said that public comment's not really necessary. I apologize if I'm putting words in your mouth. But that's what's preferred. So it's the Rahway City Council, the Rahway Board of Education, they think it's a great idea. And freeholders think it's a good idea as well. So that's kind of crazy to say 2 entities from one town think it's a great idea to take over a county park and have the county pay the bulk of the improvements and maintenance going forward for their field. I've written a little thing here, but I don't think I'm going to read it. But basically, because the analogy to me is that 3 public entities get together and decide to rob a bank, and so they all give their reasons. The city council thinks it's a good idea because they've spent too much of their own money, and they really think they need this field, and it's a good idea, and they deserve it. And the Board of Ed has not maintained their current field or taken care of their current property, and they've spent too much money as well, and they think it's a great idea that the rest of the county can pay their way. So, and they think they deserve it as well. And you guys think it's a great idea too, because it takes care of a lot of your pay-to-play constituents, and helps you in your elections and helps keep you in power. So we don't think that's a really great way to go. That, and 5,000 people are saying we've maintained this bank, we built this bank, we've preserved this bank for over 100 years, and we don't think it's a good idea that you give it away to somebody. So that's about what I want to say. But there's another issue from the meeting the other night and from the presentation on July 1st concerning your plan, which I know you guys have said many, many times there was no plan. You said essentially lied to our face for months when we've asked about plans, and you've said, there are no plans, there are no plans. Well, the plan that was presented in July is exactly the same plan, except that it had been done in color from the plan that we had discovered in January. So, and we've asked, can we see the rest of the plans? Well, there are no other plans. There's only this drawing and the drawing of the track. Well, this drawing is sheet number 4. The drawing of the track is sheet number 1. Where's sheet number 2 and number 3? Do you have it? So, before my time's up, who here is against the stadium? Who here is for the stadium? So, once again, at a public meeting, we have, well, you can all raise your hands. You're allowed to vote, you're citizens. So once again, the public is against this, and there's nobody for it, except the 3 public entities.
John Berry of Kenilworth, and I got just 2 points to add to this Rahway Stadium thing. First, I happen to be in Warren Ankle Park, and it looks like there's a stadium, like a football stadium that's built. When I was there, they were playing soccer, but there are goalposts and there's parking all around. And Warren Ankle is like 5 minutes away from where you were. I would think if somebody needed, it looked like a fairly good stadium. It had maybe room for 400 or 500. I don't know what Rahway needs. But if you have professional football teams like the Jets and Giants that could share a stadium, I don't know who's using that one, but that seemed like a perfectly adequate football stadium. And the other point is about how this project got started. After it's built, I guess you could research all that. Basically, it's who's going to get the money for the DEP approvals, building it and all that. My theory is that back at the last election cycle, say June 2014, and then again right before, around October 2014, the lawyers from Dakotas, about 15 of them, 15 to 20 of them, each gave money to Rahway candidates, including the mayor, Samson Stein. 2,500 that first row around June, and then for some reason, because I guess once you're a Democrat, you always win, they gave him another $7,500 around October 2015. And this was the first time. Normally they just give money to the freeholders, like $30,000 a pop, and they get like $1 million from the Union County Improvement Authority. But why would they be giving money to Rahway candidates? None of these lawyers live in Union County. None of them live in Rahway. And, well, we'll see when all this gets paid for. Right? Somehow I think they're going to get their money back and more.
I apologize, you can only speak once.
Just
Could
one
she speak on my,
Just,
No, she cannot.
she can't speak on my behalf?
No, you can speak if you'd like to speak.
No, I
Anyone
didn't.
else
You
wishing
wanna
to be heard?
No, I don't want to.
I just want to know when the
I'm
referendum
sorry.
is going to be.
Anyone else wishing to be
Okay,
heard?
then I'll stay. Okay, let's go, then I'll stay.
Hi, my name is Thomas Zopiano, and I live at 39 Douglas Drive, Clark, right next to the park. I've been living over here for about 45 years. Last year I walked in that park 2,400 miles. I've been there every day in that park. I enjoy that park. In the morning, I'll be there 5 o'clock in the morning. You see young ladies, they jog around the park. 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. At night, 10 o'clock at night, I see the people by themselves, women, they walk in that park. In 45 years I've been there, I never see any problems. Nobody got mugged, nobody got robbed. Now, I walk and that field is beautiful. You guys want to put the football field over there. They're going to ruin this park. People over there, I talk to people in the park, they come from Elizabeth, Rahway, Roselle Park, Colonia, Ayers, from all over the Union County. Why? Because that park is beautiful. Until you guys put the football field. I see deers in the morning, early in the morning. They walk in our park. Why are they going to put the field? Now they got a sign in the entrance over there. Oh, we got to improve the track. I don't have no problem if you want to improve the track for the kids. But they lie. They don't say nothing about the football field. No place. All the sign they put, they don't put no football field. They don't show no design, nothing. Bunch of liars, and they try to throw us in that door. That's all I got to say.
So are we done speaking?
Please, can I have order? Next person wishing to be heard.
I'm just going to close off for my mother because she'd like to express, is that what we want to know is when this will
Can
be
you
put.
please state your name and town
I'm
of
sorry,
residence?
Julie Holzer, and I live at 33 Emerson Road in Clark. As my mother spoke, the first person that spoke, she mentioned that she doesn't live anywhere near the park. I walk my dog to that park every day. That park is literally across Valley Road. It's about a quarter of a mile, not a little less than a quarter of a mile from her house. My husband works very long hours in the way of making money for my family, right? And if I've got this home games coming to Rahway Park, while my husband is trying to sleep when he works roughly about 80 hours a week, okay, and is a very light sleeper, is on medication for sleeping from a pulmonary doctor, how is this going to interfere with our living? Just to close on this, also the state, that I've been in that park at all different hours. I'm originally from Union, I've only been in Clark for about 7 years. Quiet. So I walk my dog in there, not to say the wildlife that's in there, the birds that are in there, that are going to also be destroyed and forced to go live other places or whatever. So anyway, her closure wants to be, she'd like to know when this ballot
Will be put on the ballot.
will be put on the ballot, or whatever, will be proposed. That's
Thank
all.
you very much.
And vote on it.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Julie Park? Good. Julie Park.
Hi, my name is Patricia Joseph. I live at 317 East Linden Avenue in Linden. I also have many questions about this, and I just am reading from here, and it says, will the upgrade have a devastating impact on wildlife? And the answer given here is no. The project involves upgrading an existing facility in fully developed area, not constructing a new facility in the lake, river, or any other sensitive habitats. I would like to know, did anyone on the board here do any kind of study about this? Also, I'm very concerned about the traffic. These are kids we're talking about, teenagers. There's two entrances to that park, one on St. George Avenue and one on Valley Road. Who is going to direct the traffic in and out of there? There are no street lights at those places. I don't think that putting a street light at St. George Avenue would be feasible, since there's one very close to that one. And on Valley Road, it's a residential area. Who's going to police that? Is that going to be Park Police Department, Rahway Police Department, Union County Police, before and after events? What about during practices? You know, people think about football games happening maybe once a week or something, but there are all the practices in between. I'm very concerned about the traffic, and I just would like to look at each one of you and just urge you to cut our losses. I'm sure this has cost the county a lot of money already to look into this. Cut our losses and do the right thing, and just turn this down now. Thank you.
Thank you.